Hi, my name is Natalie, and I've been teaching and practicing tantric meditations for the past 10 years. I do emotional work with people around issues they have with their sexuality, and I teach meditation. And I come from the world of Tantra, and Tantra is different than Kama Sutra. If you've heard about Kama Sutra, it's all these like weird different positions that they do, and it comes from India, like ancient philosophy, and then there's Tantra that is more from the whole yoga philosophy. But Tantra does have a very specific way of looking at sexual energy, and different postures in sex affect us differently energetically. And I feel that like when people talk about postures in sex, it's very superficial. It's very like animalistic. The best ways to come quickly or not come quickly, or it's all around orgasms. And we learn a lot of our sexual postures from porn, which is, you know, very distorted and not really connected to reality and to the actual sex people are really having. So I wanted to talk about a few postures today in sex and how they affect our body energetically. The first posture I wanted to talk about is when the man is lying on his back and the woman is sitting on top of him, and we can call that the cowboy, I think is the name of that sexual position. And this position specifically can be very, very enjoyable for women, and it can help them actually orgasm from penetration, because in that position and the position of her waist, in that posture, in that position, the male penis or the lingam reaches a lot deeper than it does in a lot of the other postures. So it's a very good posture for women who want to orgasm during sex. And I think a lot of people know that. What a lot of people don't know about that posture is that it's the hardest one for men to hold in sex. You're passive, you're on your back, you're not active, you're not like moving or thrusting, you're just lying there, and all the energy is moving very, very differently than if you were standing up or even if you were on top of her. So in that specific position, men are more likely to also orgasm quicker. So if the woman is on top of you and she needs to be there for a while in order to orgasm, but for you it's a very hard posture to hold the sexual energy, then it might be frustrating for both sides, because you might come before she does, or she might not. It takes women a little bit longer than it does men. So that posture is good for female energy, but it's not as good for the masculine energy. And it could be a good exercise if you want to practice being in your feminine energy while having sex. So she's because she's on top of you, she's moving and you're just receiving, and she's the active one. So if you learn to stay present in that posture, if you understand that it will be harder for you in that position and you want to practice it, so you ask her to go slowly and you take breaths and you do this, you stop every few minutes, and you can practice being in that posture with sexual energy. So potentially you could be a man on your back with someone riding you and to hold the sexual energy there, but naturally it's going to be difficult. So that could be something that you could work on, but you should take into consideration the fact that if you're not practiced in that position, it might be harder for you to hold in the sexual energy. So that's something that you can work on. But I think a lot of men don't know that. Another posture that I wanted to talk about is doggy style. I know a lot of like enlightened women don't want to be in that position because they feel like it's animalistic and like I'm not a dog or whatever. For women, it's a very good position to orgasm, because again, the position of the waist and all of the area here is a lot open when we're in doggy, and so the penis can go in deeper, and that can be very pleasurable for women. And it's a good posture for men because they can do it standing up or standing on their knees, and they're still staying in this position, and that way you can hold the energy a lot better. I also want to add, whatever position you're doing, every few minutes, every few breaths, just pause inside or pause outside, or just in general, we want to do it a lot slower, and we want to take pauses in between, and we want to actually bring our presence into the experience and actually enjoy the experience. And another thing I wanted to talk about is our eyes. And I know it's not specifically a position, but men tend to be more visual in terms of sexual arousal, and women tend to be more emotional. And so a lot of women close their eyes and completely submerge into the sexual energy, and for women like me, it becomes like this hallucinative whatever MDMA experience just from the sex, but we tend to get lost there, and men tend to be very visual and stay out. So the opposite way is for women to try and open your eyes more when you're having sex, in whatever posture or position you are. And not just open your eyes and look at him, but look at his lingam. Look at the lingam going in and out and in and out, and look at yourself, and bring awareness and bring presence through our eyes to the actual experience that we're having in live, real time. And it will actually give you a boost of sexual energy, and you'll be more present in the situation, and you'll feel your body more. And so I recommend, a lot of women I know, they want to do it in the dark and under the covers. I recommend doing it in the light. Open your eyes, look at it, try and adapt some of the visualizations that men use in sexuality, because it can help you with the sexual energy. And with the men, maybe pay attention to how focused you are on the outside and on the woman, and a little bit move your focus a little bit inwards to the feelings, to the sensations, to the entirety of your body, and not just the penis. So we want to balance each other. We each have a weakness and we have a strength, so we want to kind of balance each other out in those things. The last position I wanted to talk about today is the missionary position. We all know it. It's the classic one, and it's fun for both the woman and the man. Yes, the penis might not go really, really deep inside, but the thrust and the feeling of it going in and out when we're on our back, and the man is in his power because he's active and he's going in and out, and the woman is kind of surrendering and being passive and allowing this thing to come in and out. So the missionary position is good. Even there, I would suggest pause, even if you're laying on top of her, and just breathe together and pay attention to the pace of the thrusting, which is the last thing I wanted to talk about, because sometimes men feel like they have to do it really quickly, like they're in a rush somewhere, and they don't understand why they're ejaculating prematurely. Everything can happen a lot slower than it's happening now. When you start to meditate, you realize that life starts to happen a lot slower, and that's what we want to have happen during sex as well. So instead of not being present, doing it everything quickly, and then we're done after 3 minutes, and that was that. We want to take everything a lot slower than we usually do, and that includes the pace of you going in and out. So missionary is a good position to practice slowing down, looking into each other's eyes. If you're on the back and you're the woman, then maybe raising your head and looking at what's going on there. All these tips and things that I'm talking about are ways for us to be more present in the sexual experience. When we're more present in the sexual experience, we will feel the sensations a lot more. We will feel the interaction between us. We will feel each other a lot more. And I think we will have a more satisfying experience than just da-da-da-da-da and it's done. So we want to slow the pace, slow it down. Breathing, of course, is kind of another position, another thing we want to add into the different positions we're doing, but always breathing, making sure the anus is relaxed. So these are all things that I've talked about before, but the specific position that we have sex in does affect the energy in the body, and it does affect the sexual energy in the body. So men, if you're upright, it's going to be easier for you to hold it in, and if you're on your back, it's going to be harder. And for women, it's the same, but the opposite. If you're upright, it's going to be easier for you to orgasm than if you're on your back. It's kind of the same idea. And then we need to find ways of completing each other and finding the best positions that, where we can both enjoy ourselves and have fun. I do want to say, by the way, that missionary position is a good position for women to orgasm in, but then when I think about it, if you're a woman who's connected to your sexuality, then most positions are good positions for you to orgasm in, and I think men have more of difficulty there holding it in. So I think for men it's more important, the position, than it is for the woman, but that's just from my personal experience as a woman. And as a woman having sex with a man, I want him to last as long as he can, because that's more fun for me. So I do care that, you know, he can hold the energy in without being stressed that it's going to come out every minute, because that can really be annoying and ruin the atmosphere. So the positions matter, and they do affect the energy. Practicing yoga is part of Tantra. A lot of the couples who practice Tantra together will stop mid-sex and do some yoga postures. But if you think about it, yoga postures are very similar to sexual postures. So if we go to yoga, we are strengthening the areas of the body that need to be strong to hold a long time in sex and to have the best physical experience there. So I also recommend you practice yoga. It won't only help with your physical health, but also with your sexual health. So those are the things I wanted to talk about today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I upload a lot of these videos on these topics. And if you have any questions or anything you want to add, please put it in the comments. And I read all of them, and I'm very grateful for all the new subscribers and the amazing comments that I've been getting. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in my next video.